finally back. John J. Hendrix. John, let me ask you right off the top. You ready?
I'm ready.
How long have you been in media? How long have you been covering the Saints?
Since 2011. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. You have been through correct me if I'm wrong. You have been through a lot of the Sean Payton stuff, Alvin Kamara, obviously. Have you
Drew
ever
Brees retirement? All the
Brees
things.
retirement. Have you ever heard of a coach being suspended 4 games for giving a recruit a cheeseburger?
No, I can't even. Not even like four games for a cheeseburger. I hope that was worth it too. Like it better not have been like some McDonald's burger or something. Which I'm not hating. I like a McDonald's burger sometimes, but I don't know. Just think about the worst burger you could possibly get. Like that's just crazy to me. I've seen football players do stupid stuff and not get suspended or get suspended. We've been through Antonio Brown. We've done through all of these crazy knuckleheads, and 4 games for that. And then you're talking about like, it hurts my soul to see what some people do these days.
Jay, we're talking about a cheeseburger. I mean, if this man, look, we got Bobby Petrino back in the SEC. We have so many. Alvin Kamara, it was acquitted. No telling what's going to go on with that. I'll ask you that too. But I mean, come on, man. All right. So we're not here to talk about cheeseburgers and Jim Harbaugh.
Just come on, man. It's come on, man. College edition. That's exactly what it is.
Thank you. It is come on, man. College edition. It is absolutely insane, buddy. Speaking about somebody being back, Jimmy Graham's back. Look, you cover the team day in and day out. You tweeted that this kind of came out of left field. Number one, are you shocked? And number two, are you shocked that he is getting a full-year contract? Because, John, to me, it feels like Jimmy Graham's back, and he might – I'm not going to say he's going to be a lock, but you don't make that move if he's not going to play, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is totally out of left field. And you ask anybody, and when I woke up today, if I would have said Jimmy Graham, I mean, it's got to be 1 in a million, 1 in a billion. I don't know. That's just not something that would ever cross my mind. Could I saw it at first? I was like, the way it was presented, it wasn't just a one-day contract to sign and retire. And that's why I was like, when I looked at it, because the Saints will make that, they usually are a lot more caring when they make an announcement that somebody's signing a one-year or one-day contract to retire. So for Jimmy, with the way it looked, pen and paper, is like, this is a guy that's about to play football, right? And so he hasn't played football in a year. Dennis Allen said that they worked him out. He even flew in the plane and flew a plane himself to come to the workout, right? Oh. And so, yeah, Jimmy Graham, the pilot, but a guy that came in and blew him away, looks great. They wanted to fill him out mentally. He's 36. He's getting another shot. He's in black and gold. He's back in 80. This is the real deal. I thought it was reality TV. Thank God this team is not on Hard Knocks, because holy crap, this would be nuts. But, it's funny, and just not to even get on a rant here, but you look at the life of a running back, and you can't make it past, 29, 30? You got a 36-year-old tight end about to come back into the game who's been out of football for a year. I'm not saying, because I'm happy for Jimmy Graham, and I know fans are too. They felt a certain kind of way when he left. He felt a certain kind of way, I guess, when he left. But he's back in the building. That tight end room has got to be the most interesting in the NFL. You got Foster Moreau, great story. Taysom Hill does everything. Jawan Johnson, a former wide receiver, he's in for a big year. You've got Lucas Kroll still on the roster. Now you add Jimmy Graham. I mean, this is an offense the Saints have now. There is reason to be excited about this team. Last couple of years, we've talked. I didn't get the greatest feeling last year. I didn't get the greatest feeling the year before because it's post Drew Brees. But this is a team that I think people are going to really start to get bullish on as we ramp up. I'm not telling you they're going 17-0. I'm not going to tell you they're going to win a Super Bowl, but I definitely think they are going to be one of the most interesting teams this year. And I am physically excited to cover training camp. 22 practices. I'm going to be at every single one of them, all of those preseason games. I am so excited to cover this team this year.
Well, and John, it would be such a letdown if you can't win the division. I mean, you're head and shoulders. Yeah. I mean, barring injury, I hate saying that. Like, I mean, come on, everybody knows, barring injury, you're the best team, top to bottom, 1 through 53 on any given Sunday. Now, you're going to have injuries. One more, and I want to ask you about Trai Turner because I know on our show we talked about it a lot because of the LSU connection. Is this a roster lock with Jimmy? I mean, it feels to me, John, that there's no way you make this move if you're not really wanting him to be on this team. Am I crazy?
Well, I think I don't know if I'd say roster lock. And I'd say
Okay.
that because literally I joked with somebody today. Just all they had to do is say, look, Jimmy, go stand in the end zone. We're going to throw you a jump ball. Just call it a day, right? Red zone. I know it's not that simple, but at the same time, I mean, he's definitely going to compete. I think it's pushes somebody like Lucas Kroll off the depth chart because I had him on the initial 53. I think that he could come in, but now it's a numbers game. I don't know if that's the case, but you got to remember the NFL's practice squad is increased to 16.
That's
There
right.
are 6 veterans that you can have. I'm not saying that he's definitely locked, but one of the things I will say is that they have said, the Saints, that is, ever since back maybe February, that I've been told that they have a better understanding of how to utilize Taysom Hill. I don't know if now this is more like he's truly in his gadget role. He's truly somewhere where he's going to be in the tight end room. He's going to be in the quarterback room. I'm just really eager to see where exactly he comes into play on game days because last year they didn't use him as many times as they should. They didn't use him as early as they should. And a lot of that was on Pete Carmichael, and he took accountability for it. But I even charted it's like in games that he had 20 snaps or more, I think they were like 6-2 or some crazy record where he can affect the football game. So, but with Jimmy, look, I don't know what kind of shape he's going to be in. And of course, he's one that he's a little bit older. I don't know what they're going to ask him to do if it's mostly the red zone and they're going to put guys like Foster and Juwan as the guys that are going to be more of your blocking. You know, it certainly brings some real fun elements to this offense. I wouldn't tell you he's a roster lock on day one, but I do think that he comes out there, starts showing us that he's that player that, you know, we might have seen glimpses of before, has a chance for sure. And if not, you know, I don't know if he'll make it on the practice squad, but man, I'm just excited to see his outlook. He's got a chance, right? And it's just an area where I wrote about the other day. Very underrated tight end room. Now it just got to be the most still underrated, but most intriguing tight end room in the NFL for sure.
Trai Turner is a guy that we've had on the show a couple times. We've talked to Trai. I think he, quite honestly, I am biased, okay, for more than one reason, okay? LSU and because I know the man and the human being, okay? The problem is you just signed a guy who's a 5-time Pro Bowler. You could make the argument, John, from an LSU perspective, might be the second best LSU offensive lineman to ever play, maybe behind the Whitworths. You can have a Kevin Mawai, but you're getting into that area with him, right? John, do you think Trai Turner is going to start? Because I think he's going to take somebody's spot. That's me personally, because I know the kind of player he is. When you saw that signing today, officially today, I guess, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Trai Turner because I really liked him coming out of college in 2014. Him and Lyle Collins, I mean, those are two of my favorite guys that they've had in recent years, you know, and of course they've had plenty of great offensive linemen, but nobody that stacks up to Kevin Moore, like you mentioned, or Whitworth and such. But, you know, look, for him, interesting enough, Dennis Allen was asked today, was this related to maybe injury with Andres Pete or Cesar Ruiz? He said no. It wasn't anything like that. Now, what I will tell you this.
To really interrupt you, do you believe
No,
it?
you're good.
Do you believe it?
I'm not for Pete. I know he's not going to last the whole season. He just never has. He never will. Right? I hate it. Okay. I would love to see him go 17 games plus the playoffs. It just doesn't happen, and you got to come to grips with it. Will he get traded? I don't know about his contract and stuff, but I digress. Ruiz is the one that maybe bothers me a little bit more because with Trevor Penning, so him and Trevor Penning both had Liz Frank injuries. They both had to have surgery. Now, Ruiz was around during OTA's minicamp, as was Trevor Penning. The difference that I saw, Penning was out there doing stretches. He was doing a little bit of soft stuff, like nothing that was contact as far as an offensive lineman goes, but he was doing things where Ruiz was just kind of hanging back in the shadows. They haven't made a move or put anything like that, but I think they're going to ease him a good bit in. The depth behind him is where you say, okay, maybe this is where it gets a little bit interesting. Because for the Saints, and I think most teams, you have got to have the solid B plan a B plus plan and the C plan, right? And so last year they had an undrafted guy like Lewis Kidd make the roster. They had somebody like Calvin Throckmorton that ends up starting games for him. So now you draft rookie Nick Saldiveri, which I think can be outstanding. I think
agree.
he has that potential to be a tremendous offensive lineman, somebody who could start for you if you don't keep Pete, somebody that could even take Ruiz's job if they don't come up with something there, right? But a guy like Trai Turner pushes somebody like Lewis Kidd, somebody like Calvin Throckmorton. I mean, he's instantly, I'd say, when you look at the top two guards, if he's not the top two, he's got to be the secondary option behind one of those if one of those go down, right? And so, because he's a 5-time Pro Bowler. I mean, this guy he can play football. He can do a lot of things.
John, he kicked our ass for 4 straight years in Carolina. Like, this isn't something that, I mean, you're not getting that dude, okay? But he kicked our ass. And one thing that it kind of told me personally, just not even just as a fan, it would tell me, oh, okay, so you're putting the clock on Cesar Ruiz. You're putting the clock on Andrews Pete, and that's what you mentioned. All right, I told you I'm not going to keep it long. I got one more. I got to hear about Isaiah.
We can talk the whole show for it.
Okay. Isaiah Foskey. I know what I'm going to get with your boy from Clemson. Look, covering college football, he is an injury-prone waiting to happen. That's how I feel just watching him. I hope he doesn't. What have you seen from Isaiah Foskey so far?
Well, look, I'd say this. So if people that don't know, when you're watching OTAs and minicamp, there is no contact. There is nothing. So when you go in base and you look at all these, all you can look at is how they move, because you're not looking at anything else, because you can't. There's no blocking. He's not getting jammed at the line. There's nothing there. I like his athleticism. I like his intelligence. I love the fact that he's a sponge and learning behind guys like Cam Jordan has made it a point. What excites me about him is his passion and love for playing football.
Bingo.
Now, Peyton Turner, a guy, not trying to drab on him or anything like that, but he's a guy that has to live up to a lot of hype. And for Dennis Allen to even talk about it today, that, look, they're just looking for development, not the end result out of Peyton Turner. And it's important for him to be here. He's been here since day one, but a guy like Isaiah Foskey and the way his energy is, and just some of his raw athleticism and him working and talking about how he's going to place his hands. Literally, he's talking about reps, and he goes up to Cam and says, was my hands okay on that one? Is this what, just a sponge. I'm not saying that wasn't what Davenport did or Peyton Turner, but I think with Foskey, he has a passion and love for playing. He knows the opportunity that's in front of him. I'm really excited to see what he can do. And the fact is, they can use him in a variety of combinations. And I'm not going to tell you he's going to start. I think he's a guy that can come in on pass rush situations, different situations, and really affect the game. And so, look, I am so excited about him and seeing him. But OTA's minicamp, you just don't see a lot out of these guys in the trenches. You just don't. So now when we get in, we're going to ease into training camp, shells, eventually padded practices. Then we'll really start to say, okay, maybe this guy's got some pass rush moves, blowing away people. I can't wait till we see the first Trevor Penning fight. I mean, all this stuff is going to come in, because this is what's going to happen in training camp. You get these offensive linemen and defensive linemen, you're just going at it, and these guys are going to take exception to it. So I want to see what he can do, and he's one of the ones that is high up on my radar. I really think that he has a chance to make him a name for himself this year.
I know Lawan said that those padded practices during camps are worse than the games, which I don't know if you listen Bussin' with the Boys, but like
down here,
I know he said it's brutal. All right, I lied very quickly. You think Joe Burrow's about to be the highest paid quarterback in the league after what just happened with Justin Herbert?
I think he has to be in that conversation, man. Look, Herbert, I love him. I think he's a great quarterback, but Burrow, proof's in the pudding. Look, he's led this team championship, Super Bowl, all those different things. Like, I just think the end result for Burrow and what he's been able to do, you got to make the case for him. I mean, I think Herbert's a freak athlete, freak of nature, but I think Joe's a freak athlete, freak of nature. This guy plays with an incredible amount of just swagger, suave, all those types of things that I just think that doesn't matter what it is. He's a guy that, I mean, you saw it at LSU. I saw it firsthand. This guy will get hit and come up and smile about it. Like, he's just got that mentality of just like nothing phases him, and he's going to do everything he can. He handles himself extremely well. I think this is a guy that's going to be in line for a huge payday. And if he doesn't get paid on the tier level or higher, I'm going to be really shocked.
The only reason I wouldn't be shocked is because it would fit his personality to make the team around him better. Right.
True. I think so.
That would be the only reason.
That would be a Joe thing to do.
But the next time that you get in front of Cam Jordan, you got to do me a favor. I want you to ask him what he told Joe Burrow in that last drive when the Saints played the Bengals. And Joe called out the defense like 5 out of 5 times on that last drive with Jamar Chase and the hitch route for a touchdown. Sources around Baton Rouge said that Joe was telling Cam what they were running, and Dennis was about to call a timeout. So that, I mean, it just kind of shows you the kind of dude he is. All right, John, I love you. I'm so ready for this. I'm so ready for this season. It feels like, I don't want to say like Texas, we're back. It feels right now. You know what I mean? Like it feels right to be a part of this team. But you've been fantastic as always. Tell everybody where they can catch everything that you're doing, because it's about to be, John, we're here. I mean, it's on
here. I will be the busiest of bees for the next month. 6 months, probably. Yeah, definitely over the next, guys. I go pretty much 6 days a week, honestly. But all my written work can be found at saints.media or si.com/NFL/Saints. Blake has been generous enough to show my Twitter handle. I'm out there on all the other things, whether Twitter, maybe it's X. I got to remember this blue bird. That's no longer a thing, right?
We're triple Xing. That's what I said. We're triple Xing.
I don't know. Whatever the hell it is, I'm on that platform at most big things, whether it's Meta, stupid thing, Threads, Instagram. I don't care. And then I'm waiting for my Blue Sky invite, because I've heard people be like, why aren't you on there yet? And I'm like, I gotta get my invite code first. But I'll be on there too. I'm on YouTube. Right. I'm on Boot Crew Media doing videos. I'm doing videos on SI. So if you don't see my face and you don't know my face, then I'm sorry. I don't know what rock you've been living under, because I've been trying to cover this team as much as I can for the past 10 years. So, but come talk at me, and I'm sorry I ruined your football games.
One of my buddies, not named Mike Bazile, texted me when he saw, we did the thing about you coming on. He said, tell John that he was 97%